My life flipped upside down the night I found an old, rusty key tucked in my dad's desk drawer. A discovery that cracked open the ugly truth about my family's manipulative games. Dad, with his cold, controlling smirk, declared I'd never leave our small town of Willow Creek, Ohio, or our family, unless he gave the green light. Mom just nodded, parroting lies about how I needed protection. I was 16, but to them, I was a puppet, strings pulled tight. That key, though, it felt like a whisper of freedom, a symbol of something bigger. I swore I'd get my cousin Sophie out of their web of deceit, too. Looking back, I can still see Sophie's eyes go blank when Dad bullied her into ditching her college dreams, calling it a family disgrace. She was 15, trembling, convinced she was worthless. I felt helpless, clutching that key so hard it bit into my palm, but it lit a fire in me, a need to push back. At the public library, Ms. Harper, my history teacher, slipped me a book on psychological abuse. Reading it, my jaw dropped. It was like seeing my family's playbook: gaslighting, isolation, control laid bare. I scribbled notes, the key in my pocket a cold nudge to keep going. Things spiraled fast. Dad snatched my phone, roaring I was rebellious for asking about Grandma's estate. Mom hissed I should learn gratitude. Sophie's desperate glance screamed for help, and I wondered, what's Dad hiding? My classmate Lisa swore she'd dig up legal info with me, but I caught her texting my plans to Mom, friend or traitor. My heart pounded, but the key kept me grounded. Late one night, I snuck into Dad's office and found a safe. That rusty key clicked it open, revealing papers showing he'd siphoned mine and Sophie's inheritance into secret accounts. Dad walked in, eyes like ice, and I stammered I was cleaning. Did he buy it? The next day, they called a family meeting, forcing me to apologize for doubting their loyalty. Mom avoided my gaze. Sophie sobbed. I played along, but my mind screamed, I've got to get out. I faked compliance, stuffing clothes and those papers into a backpack that night. The key in my jacket was my lifeline. I bolted to the library, where Ms. Harper waited with emergency contact numbers. I've called CPS, she whispered. Hope surged, but then the door chimed. Dad, his voice sliced through. Emily, get home now. Ms. Harper blocked him, saying she'd called the cops. My hands shook, gripping the key. I had to run. I darted out the back, using the key to unlock a rusty gate. My brother Tom's footsteps thundered behind, yelling, stop. I sprinted through the park, heart hammering. Jumping on the last bus downtown, I saw Tom's car tailing me. I called Ms. Harper, begging her to alert the police. The key was my only comfort. At the courthouse, I filed for an emergency protective order. Mrs. Clark, the clerk, helped with the forms. You're safe, she said, but Tom loomed outside, eyes blazing. Was the order enough? CPS sent me to a safe house, but they were full. Panic hit, my fingers clutching the key. Ms. Harper let me crash at her place, but I knew Dad could track me. He posted online, branding me a delusional psycho. Kids at school shunned me, but Sophie texted, I believe you. I sent her CPS numbers, praying she'd speak up. My friend Mark swore he'd help gather evidence, but I caught him screenshotting our chats for Tom. Betrayal stung. The key reminded me to trust no one. Sophie got dragged back home, cutting contact. I felt I'd failed her. Ms. Harper introduced me to Patricia Lang, a social worker who said, we'll fight this. Could I trust her? A lawyer, Mr. Davis, offered free help, but Patricia uncovered he worked for Dad. My stomach dropped. What was his angle? Digging through Dad's old emails, I found proof he'd hidden our money. I sent it to Patricia, wondering if Dad knew I was onto him. Sophie called from a friend's phone, whispering, Dad knows you have evidence. He's suing you. Shock hit, but her voice gave me hope. She was still with me. Mr. Thompson, another teacher, acted sympathetic but called Mom. Patricia warned, they're isolating you. Who was left? At the library, Daniel, a classmate, helped me hide legal guides in notebooks. I slipped one to Sophie, the key in my pocket fueling my resolve. Dad sued for defamation, but Patricia said it wouldn't hold. Sophie sent a recording of Dad threatening her a total game changer. A family support group invited me to reconcile, but Patricia smelled a trap. I refused, then got a threatening text from an unknown number. Did they know my location? Tom trailed me near the safe house. I called the cops, but he vanished. Patricia said, they're desperate. Sophie escaped to meet me, bringing a diary detailing Dad's abuse. We sent it to CPS, my heart swelling with pride. But the fight was far from over. A woman claiming to be a journalist, Ms. Reynolds, approached me at school, promising to expose Dad's schemes. I shared everything, but Daniel overheard her on the phone, laughing about easy money, from a source. Dad. My blood ran cold. She was a plant, another of his pawns. I cut contact, but not before she leaked a twisted version of my story online, painting me as a liar. I crumbled, the key my only anchor. Then came a chilling package at Ms. Harper's. A photo of me at the library, taken from across the street with a note, we see you. My hands shook, they were watching. Patricia moved me to a new safe house, but the fear clung like damp rot. At the new place, I met Clara, a volunteer who seemed kind, sharing stories of her own controlling family. I opened up, but one night, I saw her slip a note under the door. I grabbed it, coordinates and my name, addressed to Tom. Clara was a mole. I confronted her, and she fled, leaving me reeling. How deep did Dad's reach go? I called Patricia, who tightened security, but the safe house felt like a cage. Sophie texted, saying she'd overheard Dad planning something big, a public lesson, to silence me. My heart raced. What was he plotting? I dug deeper into his emails, finding a cryptic message about a Willow Fund, linked to a shadowy group called the Heritage Alliance. Was Dad part of something bigger? Patricia's jaw tightened when I showed her. This is serious, she said, contacting a federal agent. Days later, a man claiming to be my long-lost uncle, Greg, showed up at the safe house, tears in his eyes, saying he'd escaped Dad's control years ago. He offered proof, old letters showing Dad had framed him for theft to cut him out of the family. I wanted to believe him, but the key in my pocket screamed caution. Patricia ran a background check. Greg was real, and his story checked out. He gave us bank records tying Dad to the Heritage Alliance, a network funneling money through family trusts. My mind spun. This wasn't just about our family anymore, but then, a new threat hit. Sophie vanished. Her phone went dead, and her foster family said she'd run off. I panicked, fearing Dad had her. Daniel and I scoured Willow Creek, following a tip to an abandoned warehouse. Inside, we found Sophie, tied up, her eyes wide with terror. They wanted to scare you, she whispered after we freed her. But the real shock came when she revealed she'd planted a tracker on one of Dad's men, leading us to a meeting of the Heritage Alliance. My breath caught. Was this our chance? We tipped off Patricia, who coordinated with the feds. They raided the meeting, arresting Dad's associates, but he slipped away. I felt crushed. He was always one step ahead. The town turned against me. A viral video, orchestrated by Dad, showed concerned citizens, calling me a troublemaker tearing families apart. Even Daniel's parents pressured him to ditch me. I broke down, but the key reminded me why I started. Then, a bombshell. Sophie had secretly recorded Dad confessing to the Alliance's schemes during her capture. She'd risked everything, pretending to comply to get close. I hugged her, tears streaming. We sent the recording to the feds, and Patricia said this could end him. But Dad fought dirty. He hired a hacker to flood my school's servers with fake emails from me, accusing teachers of corruption. The principal suspended me, and whispers followed me everywhere. I felt like I was drowning, but Patricia uncovered the hacker's link to Dad, clearing my name. Still, the damage was done. Half the town thought I was unhinged. A new figure emerged, Mrs. Ellison, a therapist, offering to heal our family. I met her, desperate for peace, but her questions probed too deep, fishing for my plans. Daniel hacked her email. She was reporting to Dad. Another trap. I cut ties, my trust in strangers shattered. Hope flickered when Greg, my uncle, reappeared with a USB drive of Alliance transactions, stolen from Dad's office. I'm risking my life, he said, voice shaking. We handed it to the feds, but that night, someone broke into the safe house. I hid under the bed, clutching the key as footsteps searched the rooms. The intruder left a note, last warning. My heart stopped. Dad was closing in. Patricia relocated me again, this time to a cabin outside town. There, I found a hidden letter from Mom, tucked in my bag, begging me to stop for my safety. He'll destroy us all, she wrote. Was she warning me or luring me back? I didn't respond, but doubt gnawed at me. Sophie, now in a new safe house, sent a coded message. She'd infiltrated a secret Alliance chat group, posing as a loyalist. She uncovered Dad's plan to frame me for fraud, using forged documents. My stomach churned. He'd ruin my future. We raced to expose him first, but the feds needed more time. Then, the unthinkable, Daniel disappeared. His phone was off, his house empty. I feared the worst. Had Dad gotten to him? Sophie and I tracked his last location to a motel. We found him, shaken but alive, hiding from Dad's men who'd threatened his family. I'm sorry, he sobbed. I almost gave up. I gave him a spare key necklace, a symbol of our fight. We're not done, I said. The final blow came at the trial. Patricia presented everything: emails, Sophie's diary, her recording, Greg's USB. Dad sneered, calling me a pathological liar. But the evidence piled up. Then, a woman burst into the courtroom, Aunt Linda, Mom's sister, who'd vanished a decade ago. She testified that Dad had driven her out with threats, part of his Alliance schemes. Her proof photos of Dad with Alliance leaders sealed his fate. The judge granted permanent protective orders for me and Sophie, and Dad was arrested on fraud and coercion charges. I hugged Sophie, slipping a tiny key into her hand. We're free, I whispered, tears falling. Sitting in my new room, I held the key, replaying the moments I nearly broke. It taught me truth was worth the pain, even when it felt like the world was against me. Sophie's safe now, her smile proof I did right. The key showed me freedom isn't just escaping, it's unlocking doors for others. Dad's threats haunted my dreams, but the key anchored me, reminding me my worth isn't his to define. Sophie learned that too, her courage a mirror of mine. Lisa and Mark, caught in Dad's web, were victims like us. The key taught me to forgive, not forget, their betrayal's a lesson in caution. MS, Harper and Patricia believed in me when I doubted myself. They became my real family, their faith a lifeline. Nightmares of Dad's voice faded as the key's weight steadied me. I thought of other kids in Willow Creek, still trapped by families like mine. The key urged me on. Sophie and I crafted new legal guides, hiding them in school books. A girl I'd never met sent a letter, thanking me for saving her from her own controlling parents. Each win mattered, but could I keep fighting? The key, my journey's heart, proved truth burns brighter than lies. We weren't alone anymore. Dad's investigation snowballed. Cops raided his office, uncovering his secret accounts tied to the Heritage Alliance. He screamed about injustice, but I felt no fear, only relief. Sophie secured her own protective order and moved to a safe house, her strength growing. I texted her, "We did it." She replied, "Because of you." At the library, Patricia pitched Freedom Key, a network to support abuse victims. The key in my pocket became our emblem, a symbol of hope. Our article went viral, anonymous but powerful, sparking 3 more girls to speak out. They joined Freedom Key, their stories echoing mine. I worried about resources, but hope outshone fear. Daniel organized a school meeting, sharing our guides despite parents' outrage. Students rallied, their cheers a lifeline. Sophie said, "We're changing everything." A mom sent a letter, apologizing, claiming Dad forced her hand. I kept it but didn't reply. Patricia said, "You choose your path." Freedom Key landed funding. We launched legal rights classes at the library. Sophie led one, her voice steady, her eyes bright. A year later, standing outside the courthouse, I watched Freedom Key grow. Dad got probation and a hefty fine. Mom left town, starting over. Sophie enrolled in college, chasing her dreams. A new girl messaged me, "You saved me." I held the key, its gleam a promise. Freedom was forever.